Hi, my name's Ben from the Adventure Element, and today on this January morning I'm going to be cycling the Action Medical Research Race the Sun Keswick route up here in the Lake District. So the route today is about 33 miles, 50 something kilometres, it's about 800 metres of ascent and descent, but the whole event is based here from the old Cumberland pencil factory in the centre of Keswick, and this building just behind me here is the one that we hire as your event hub, and all of your equipment and bikes can be stored inside that warehouse as a transition area. So when you come back in off each phase, you can go inside, get changed, and then head out onto the next part of the event. This whole area here will be set up as an event. There'll be gazebos and flags and music and lots of staff, and just behind me here will be the big blue race arch, which is what you'll pass under a number of times during the day. So the route today is going to take somewhere between 2.5 and 4 hours, depending on how fast you ride. So I'm going to jump on the bike just now, and as I'm riding round, I'm just going to point out some of the features that you're going to be riding past and riding through, talk about some of the roads, and we're going to do a big circumnavigation of Skiddaw Mountain, which is the peak that you're going to climb as part of the event as well. So it's a great route to do. So let's jump on the bike and let's get going. Right, let's get this route started. So there will be the race arch in front of us here that we'll go under. Now, unfortunately, the gates are closed of the pencil factory, so we're just going to nip up onto the path to get out of this complex here and out of the car parks. Now, the important thing to remember here is that first part of this route, the first kilometre or so, is on the main road coming in and out of Keswick, so it can be pretty busy. And definitely if you're one of the first teams coming out in the morning, full of adrenaline, full of excitement, there's a risk that you forget that actually it's not a closed road event. So we just need to be mindful of the other road users. Okay, so it's a right turn out of the pencil factory and along the road. Then we're going to do another right turn in just a second. So this first part of the route does go through a residential area, and if you're definitely some of the first teams going out at 7 o'clock in the morning, all full of adrenaline and excited, screaming and shouting at each other, we're definitely going to be upsetting the locals, so please just be mindful of the people in their beds at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So it's not a closed road event, so we're always mindful of the other road users. You are allowed legally to ride 2 abreast, but no more than that. And our advice would be to always to single out into single file if you do get a queue of traffic behind you, or to pull over and let the traffic go past. We just want to be as courteous as possible to everybody on the roads, pedestrians, cars, motorbikes, other cyclists. So what we're heading for now is the K to T trail, the Keswick to Threlkeld trail, which is the old railway line. Now, the old railway line is a cycleway, very popular in town, and it will be busy. Now, we have permission to be on that railway line or on the cycleway, though part of the conditions of using it is obviously we're courteous to all the other users. We stay to the left-hand side, and most importantly is we're not racing, so there's no speed when you're going along the railway line. Take it nice and steady, be courteous to everybody who's using it. There'll be families, kids, dog walkers. For the guys who are out who are cycling first on the event, there'll also be park run taking place. And Keswick has one of the busiest park runs in the country. There'll be something like 400 people using it. Now, we do structure the event to try and avoid park run while it's taking place, but there still might be stragglers when you come along here. So the first section of the trail will probably be quite busy. Okay, I'll come back and have a chat next when we're on the trail. Right, this is the start of the Keswick to Threlkeld trail, the old railway line, past the old station houses and the platform. And you can see it, even though it's at the end of the day today, it's in January, still pretty busy. So try to be courteous to everybody. Cyclists on your right hand side, thank you. So we should stay to the left, let everybody know that we're coming, and please just take it nice and steady, don't race. I guess this is a good time to mention that the whole of this route will be route marked with orange and black arrows, which are about A4 size. And the way that we route mark is we put an arrow before a junction, on the junction, then just after it to confirm that you're going the right way. So they're pretty obvious to see. But as a backup, we also have marshals out en route. So there'll be something like 9-10 marshals along the whole of this route, 33-mile route, and they're at strategic points. Those marshals are there to help you if you have any problems, to deal with any incidents, and also to relay messages to our safety team if needed, or to the bike mechanics if needed. So if you have a mechanical issue on your bike that you can't deal with yourself, you can get hold of our bike mechanics via one of the marshals, but you'll also have the bike mechanics phone numbers, so you can phone them as well. But obviously with any mechanical stuff, if you can fix it yourself, that's way easier than waiting for our mechanics to arrive. So this trail, it's a couple of miles, it goes all the way to Threlkeld. It's nice and flat, it's a beautiful, picturesque trail. So I'll come back to you when we get a little bit further along. One of the lovely features of this old railway line is you get to go through this tunnel, which for years and years was filled in. You couldn't go through, you had to go around it, and then more recently they've dug it all out, so you get to ride through it. It's really quite a special feature of the trail. So this is the end of the railway line. We've got these lovely switchbacks to finish. It's a handful of those, which will take us up to the A66, which is a busy road. It's the busiest road on the whole route. And for the next couple of kilometres, we're on the cycle path, which is going to run alongside the A66. We're not actually going to ride on the road at all. The important thing to remember here is that there is a cut-off time for the whole event, which will be advertised or in your event guide. And the majority of questions about the whole event will be in your event guide, so please refer back to that. So we're now on the cycle path along the side of the A66. It's probably the busiest part of the whole route, but it's a lovely cycle path which goes up to a place called Scales. And at Scales we break away onto another back road, and it takes us into a lovely little valley called Mungrisdale. And for me, Mungrisdale is pretty special because it's right close to where I live and where we're based. We are now on the back road coming up from Scales, and it goes around the mountainside on our left and dropped into the Mungrisdale Valley. Now this road does have some gates on it. We will endeavour to get them opened for the whole day. If not, we'll have marshals down here or help with the gate. But the important thing to remember is to leave the gate as you find it. So if it's closed when you arrive at it, go through it and close it again, or ensure that the team behind you is going to close it. Again, we just don't want to be upsetting any of the farmers along this route. I mean, it seems today that the gates are open, which is a massive help for me doing this. but on your event day it could be very different. Okay, so we've come up the little rise, we're going to turn left. There'll be signs here which will tell you there's a feed station. Pretty much straight away as soon as we turn left, got the school on our left hand side and the village hall on our right. The village hall is where the toilets will be, and the school on the left here is where the feed station will be. Okay, so now we're out on the open common. There's a long drag of a hill here. It's not too steep, really easy gradient. It just goes on for a little while. But then the beauty of the up is there's a magnificent downhill, followed by another up, obviously. But this is lovely out here, bright sunny day. Just glorious. You see for miles from the top of the hill here, actually over to the right hand side. Sometimes you can see Scotland if you're very lucky. Let's see what the weather's doing on your event day. But today it's mid-January. If there's light winds, it's still a little bit cold though. We're now coming to probably the most technical part of the route. So we're at Oldale. We've got a descent now which is at 16%, steep left turn, and then it goes over a cattle grid. So there will be a marshal at the top of here. There'll be lots of signs just warning you about the descent. And obviously we just want you to take it nice and steady. Be really cautious, there's no heroes, but enjoy the descent. And then after we go through Oldale itself, then we've got a long climb, which is our Strava segment on this event. Okay, here's the Oldale descent. Off we go. So here's our tight left turn. So nice and slow as we go into here, because the road can be a little bit greasy. It's not so bad today. Just in front of me now is a cattle grid. Again, there'll be signs here just to warn you. And then we're into Oldale village. So Oldale is a farming community, so there's often mud on the road. And then just at the bottom of the hill here on the front of me, there's a right turn over a bridge. Again, we'll have a marshal here just to warn you it's a tight right turn, and then we go into the ascent, which is our Strava segment. Tight right, tight left, and then we've got our long climb. Nice. So there we are, we're at the top of our Strava segment. We're now sitting at around about 25.5 miles. The route's about 33, so 7 or 8 miles now back to Keswick to then transition to either go down to the lake or go up the mountain. The great thing about after coming up the Strava segment up that hill is that we've got another amazing descent. We're heading down towards Bassenthwaite, and if you don't know it already, Bassenthwaite is the only lake in the Lake District. I'll leave you to ponder on that one. If you can give me the answer on the event, I'll give you a prize. So here we go, here's the nice descent. Right, so we've got the last few miles now back into Keswick, and we're on the road that runs down the side of Bassenthwaite Lake. Can be quite busy, this road, so we've got to make sure that we're following the rules of the road. We're being courteous to the other drivers, not riding any more than 2 abreast. And obviously, it's highly possible you're going to have tired legs as well coming along here, and the road does undulate. So just take it nice and easy. Remember, whilst it's called Race the Sun, it's not actually a race. We want you to get round the whole course, the whole event in one piece and nice and safe, and really enjoy your day out. So do just take it nice and easy and stay together as a group. Remember, you're there to support each other. As a team, it's not an individual event. Right, so it's the last kilometre or so before we get back to the event hub. And the last few obstacles that you need to negotiate is this roundabout, which we're just coming up to now on the outskirts of Keswick. We will have a marshal here who won't necessarily help you around the roundabout, but they will be there to assist if needed. And obviously we'll have arrows to tell you where you need to go, but it can be quite busy. It's the main A66 road, which we're kind of going across. You know, the one that you rode against or alongside earlier on in the route. So we're straight over at the roundabout, and that'll take us down into Keswick. And there's a left turn, and then a left turn into the event hub. So now we're very much just backtracking along the route that you've already done. So you would have come up this way earlier on in the ride, and we're coming up to the junction in front of us where there's a left turn. Now it's the last couple of 100 metres before you come underneath the race arch. Maybe for your last time, maybe for your first time before you transition to the other sections of the event, the other phases. Here we are, back at the event hub at the Cumberland Pencil Factory. Oh, there will be a race arch in front of us here, but the barrier's closed today. There we go, job done. Okay, and there we have it. That's the end of the Action Medical Research Race the Sun cycle route. So around about 33 miles, 50 something kilometers, 800 meters of ascent and descent. And it basically does a huge loop that goes out around Skiddaw, which is the mountain that you'll also climb on the event, which is actually just up here in between the buildings. You can't see it. So all you need for this is a standard road bike or hybrid bike. You could get away with doing it on a gravel bike, but we'd advise you to pump the tires up or even put slick tires on if possible. If you've got any questions about the type of bike that you need to bring, then do watch one of our other videos, which I will link down in the description down below. So this is the Cumberland Pencil Factory. This is the event hub behind me here, where you'll be able to transition, where all your kit will be stored before you go off and do the other phases of the event. I hope this has been really useful for you. And remember, if you do have any questions at all, then do get in touch with the charity. They'll pass those inquiries on to us if they can't answer them directly. We just want you to be as better prepared as possible, or best prepared as possible, before you come along on the event, so you're fully aware of what you've signed up for. And obviously all of that fundraising money that you're getting together is all going to an amazing cause. It's not an easy event, but then if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.